Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Malicious Compliance. In today's episode, I refused to cook and chilled with men. Give me a parking ticket for a spot I paid for, I dare you. Want me to treat you with respect? Ma'am, yes ma'am. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. I refused to cook and chilled with men. I, F28, dislike cooking. Don't get me wrong, I cook for survival. But it is not something I like or enjoy. At my in-laws, both my MIL and SAL are stay-at-home partners and love to cook. Neither of their husbands lift a finger to help and they like it that way. Before marriage, I was treated as a guest. But since my marriage 6 months ago, they expect, want and demand I cook with them. First few times I went along with it, but I hated it. It took 5 to 7 hours to make food and do dishes. So when they planned to get together last weekend and discuss the menu, I suggested ordering in. This way everyone can be more relaxed. They looked like I insulted them. I told them they can cook, but to give me a list of what I should make, I will buy it. They said that's not how traditions work, and if I hate it too much, I can relax with men. That's exactly what I did. Much to their anger. I helped setting place and serving, but that was it. As we were eating, my husband commented how good something tasted. MIL immediately went on about how I wouldn't be cooking anything for him. When he said he can cook for himself, SAL chimed in with how her husband or dad never had to cook a day in their life. How marrying lazy women like me has ruined his manhood. I looked at my husband and we both laughed. MIL and SAL are blasting our phones over my arrogance and calling him spineless. Even my mom is taking their side now. But guess who don't care? My wife hasn't cooked regularly since the late 90s. We got married in 1990 and she just cooked. In 1996 I was laid up at home for 6 months and the Food Network had just come on cable. I discovered I liked cooking and, honestly, was better at it than her. So I've cooked ever since. Go with what works. I am 68. My southern wife is a fantastic cook, she just doesn't care to. We eat one meal a day together and I cook it virtually every night and always have. She does get in the mood to cook around holidays. This is probably a subtle way of saying I am just a moderate cook. She never complains about the food and rarely makes suggestions. We also go out at least once a week for date night. I also grocery shop as I find it and cooking both rather cathartic. Do what works. I was taught that my value to men is measured in meals, and your refusal to validate me is a threat to my very sense of self. To defend against this outrageous attack, I will insult you both in hopes of shaming you into conformity with my worldview, because that's what was done to me. Grody to the max. When we dated in college, I had to show my now wife how to brown hamburger. She'd never really cooked. We never subscribed to the gender roles on this sort of stuff. I'm very happy spending hours in the kitchen on a big meal. Of course, my wife is very into sports, which doesn't interest me. She also doesn't wear makeup. One time, when we were talking about having kids, she worried about having a girl because she wouldn't be able to show them how to put on makeup. I said she could show them how to play different sports, and I could teach makeup application, as I'd been active in academic and community theater for over a decade at that point. She laughed and conceded the point. A postscript: my older daughter got into my rouge wheel one year, using Q-tips instead of foam sponges, and gouged it up. I let her keep it, and took her with me to go to the theatrical supply store to buy another, on Father's Day. Probably not a problem many fathers have faced. Spineless for sticking up for you against the two of them? Logic doesn't enter their minds, does it? Tell them that men with spines can't be shamed into hanging out with pricks who insult their manhood. Then, just to twist the knife, tell him that women with spines don't do that either. They seem like the type to be triggered by that kind of equality. Give me a parking ticket for a spot I paid for, I dare you. About 10 or so years ago, I went to a concert an hour away from me in Indianapolis. Decided to make a day of it, going to several museums and spots around the city. Each time paying for parking in a garage for 2 or so hours, then going to meander around the area. Finally, I go park close to the venue and paid for parking until the time it was free. Total, I probably paid $40 to $50 for parking throughout the day. Enjoyed the concert, but come back to a parking ticket on my car. I think this is odd, but I am tired and chalk it up to a mistake. But I decide to take photos of my parking spot. Both spots on either side were taken, and all the signage, and head home for the evening, figuring I would sort it in the morning. The next morning, I review the ticket, the photo of my spot, and my parking receipt. The ticket did not line up to the spot my car was located in, and my receipt shows that I had valid parking at the time of the ticket. So I submit an appeal thinking this will be easy. It's obvious that a mistake was made. The appeal was denied. The ticket was for the spot that was not paid for, ergo it stood. I called the office, and the lady said they did not make a mistake, as my receipt showed that I paid for spot X1 and the ticket was for spot X. I asked about the photo proof that my car was in spot X1. She said, well, you could have moved the car. Note that the parking receipt included my license plate number and everything. Think Park Mobile-like system. I noted that there were cars and spots on either side of me, and that the entire street was full because of the concert. And honestly, I don't think they bothered to look at the photo. Even had that not been the case, I had proof that that license plate had a paid parking spot. No matter what, no dice. I am feeling petty over this $25 parking ticket at this point. So, I called Visa and asked if I could retract the amount I paid for the time that I had parked, since it didn't count. I submitted all the evidence and documentation to Visa. Visa, and what was the greatest thing Visa has ever done? IMO, they agreed that if my parking receipt and transaction number wasn't proof I had paid for parking, then clearly I had paid for a service I did not receive. And they extended my initial request of canceling the one transaction to include all the parking spots I had paid for through the system that day, valued at more than the parking ticket. Then they filed a formal complaint on my behalf with a letter explaining why they were refunding me. I would not have been nearly as satisfying if I had not spent the entire day playing tourist in the city and racking up a large parking bill, all with the same vendor. Good on you. A lesson for us all: put it on the card. How cool is having the credit card company help you in a dispute? This is not a malicious story, but a story about parking tickets are a load of crap. Right near my wife's work are bus stops, which is normally no parking, but the bus stop signs have been covered up for the last 6 months or so. She and her colleagues have parked there for several months without issue, and then a few weeks ago she and her colleagues got a ticket for $140. She then noticed that the signs were uncovered. She was going to pay it, but I told her to just wait a bit and see if we can dispute it. Her boss overheard them talking about it and told them not to pay it. He works for the local council and had it in writing that the bus stops weren't active until the end of this month. They all disputed it and got it cancelled, and the signs are covered up again. This is great. I was in an almost similar situation couple of weeks ago. Paid for parking in a city lot at the beach. Crowded day, long line at the pay station. Made the payment about 12:48 p.m. and found that I had received a parking ticket at 12:45 p.m. i.e. while I was still waiting in line to pay. I have filed an appeal with that city, but not sure what the outcome is. If it doesn't go my way, I have saved your post and will sure give Visa a call. Want me to treat you with respect? Ma'am, yes ma'am. My mom is in the military, and sometimes when she gets upset I have to only reply with yes ma'am, and I can't leave until I do so. It's not the end of the world, but a minor pet peeve. Later on, me and my sister got an idea. When she starts going off on us, let's salute her and as aggressive as we can yell out "ma'am, yes ma'am" for a month straight, even going as far as saying random pledges and singing military songs when she's in her military uniform. I rarely see her with it on because she's quick to take it off when she gets home. She hates having to stop what she's doing so people can thank her for her service, so she would go home, change, and then go to where she needed to be. 5 months and she's going off at us with pure anger in her eyes, and when she asked if I'm listening I say yeah mom, yeah ma'am, and when she got mad at me because I didn't say yes ma'am the normal way, I along with my sister looked at each other and understood the assignment. We proceeded to jump out of our seats, put our hand on our foreheads, straightened our backs and yelled as long and as loud we could from the depths of our souls, yelled "ma'am, yes ma'am." She lost it, then started laughing until tears. She started saying "I'm sick of this shit, I can't take it anymore, stop," while still laughing. Me and my sister start laughing too. A once angry mother now laughing her heart out because of a stupid inside joke her kids made. She now rarely requires us to say yes ma'am when she's mad on the off chance that we will salute her again. My dad expected us to stop what we were doing and stand at attention when he entered the room. Being his part-time custodial child, I refused, stating I did not join the military and if it was an issue, he could ship me back to my mom. My half-siblings were astounded at my gall. Glad your family worked it out. And I bet he will wonder why no one calls or visits when they are older. Your next mission is to get about 100 soldiers of lower ranks to initiate the salute trap. You two are amazing kids and your mom sounds like an amazing mom. Kudos to all of you. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.